Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Trailhead explanation. In this video, we are going to cover unit add more options to your screen from the module screen flows. Now, before you begin with this unit, you have to make sure that you complete unit 3, give users a choice of this module. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete this challenge because we are using the same flow which we had created and updated in unit 3 as well. New bot of flow. So we are going to make updates in the same flow. So you have to make sure that you are using the same Trailhead playground in which you have completed your unit 3. Now, next up, what we are going to implement in this unit's challenge is we are going to add more screen components. And by the end of this unit's challenge, we will be able to test our flow with proper working, because in the previous videos, we were trying to create an opportunity through this flow new bot op, but we're facing an exception because we were missing the required field name and stage name. But here in this unit's challenge, we will be implementing those as well. And let's see how we can do that. So quickly launch your Trailhead playground and open up new bot op flow. So there it is, new bot of flow. Open this up, your flow builder will open up. Now here, the very first thing that we have to do is create a variable that will be a record type of variable by the label op where. So I'll copy this, go to toolbox icon, click on new resource. Now resource type here will be variable. API name I'm going to paste. Data type will be record. And the object of which we are going to fetch this record will be of opportunity. So what basically we are creating here is a resource of record type, which will hold the opportunity record. So we are going to use this variable in order to assign values to the fields of opportunity at the time of creating it. We'll see all of this in implementation after a few minutes. Just click on done. So our opvar record type of variable is ready. Now next is we have to go to our screen element and add name component and stage from using the opvar record variable. So let's just see how we can do that. Go to your screen component. Now here, till now we were adding components directly from this component tab, but now we have to go to this field section. Now here, record variable. So we just now created a record variable by the label opvar. So select this. Now this will open up all the fields that are there. There is this required field section as well, and the fields that are there on the opportunity object. So here we are going to add name and stage field on this screen component. So let's just drag and drop it over here. The very first field that I'm dragging up is name. So I'll just put this on the top of the input fields. So name is here. And the next field that I'm going to add is stage. So name and stage. Now both the required fields I have added on our screen component. Next up, we have to add a lookup component, and we are going to label it as screen account. This is basically the API name. So let's just go back here, go to your components tab again, and from here, just search for lookup, drag and drop it on the layout, and API name I'm going to paste it, which is screen account. Field API name will be account ID. Label again will be account. And object API name is opportunity. So now what basically we are doing is we have added a lookup field, which is pointing out to the opportunity account ID field. So it's a lookup field on opportunity, which make an opportunity get related to an account. So what we are doing is we have selected the object from which this field has to be from. So we are fetching the account ID. We have mentioned the API name of the field whose lookup we want here. So it's opportunities account ID that we are placing over here. Now, next is scroll down and there is this required section. Just select global constant true. Now that's all for our screen element. Now next up, we have to add a get record element which will fetch the contact records for us. Let's just click on done over here. Now before our create op or create record element, we are going to add one get records element. I'll copy the name of the get record element from here, which is get contacts. Object of which we are going to get the records will be of contact. And the filter that we are going to use to fetch the records for our get record element is where account ID is equal to screen account. This is a lookup component on our screen component, which we just placed few minutes back. So we are using that lookup to fetch the record ID. So our requirement over here is to get all the contacts where account ID is same, which user has input on our screen element. So we are fetching all those contact records. So instead of only the first record, just make sure select all records and rest of the settings remain intact. Let's just click on done. So we are ready with our get records, which will fetch all the contact records that have the same account as that we are adding on our screen component. So you can see over here, if I'll go back to our screen, this is the screen account and this will be the lookup on screen component. So here the ID will be stored in this variable. So we are using the same variable in our get contact element, and using that screen account variable, we are fetching the record ID. Based on this ID, we are fetching the contact records. So let's just move on further. Next thing that we have to do is we have to add a screen element again, and that would be labeled as set contact. So let's just go back there. And on this screen element, we are going to place the data table. So label it first. Next is we have to add a data table component on this contact screen, which we just created. And we are going to label it as main contact. So let's just copy this label as well. Go to your component search section and search for data table. Drag and drop it on the screen component and label it. Give the API name as main contact. So API name has to be main contact with underscore. So I'll just go back here and paste this one. Label will be again main contact but without underscore. So I'll remove this and give the space over here. We have to make sure that this checkbox is selected. Use label as the table title. So if I'll check this, this will add the label on our table title. So you can see over here main contact. Now, next I'm going to select one record collection variable that will be used to populate the data in our data table. So what variable we are going to select? So we are going to display all the contacts on our data table, which we fetched from our get contacts record element, which we just created before this screen element, right? We just created get contacts record element in which we were fetching the contacts based on account ID, which user has input on the first screen element. So we are fetching all those contacts and we are going to show it over here on our table. Now, next is configure rows. So I'll just go ahead in this configure rows. Make sure the single one is selected. Just click on required as well, require user to make a selection. So it is important that the user select one of the contact and associated with the opportunity that we are going to create. So we'll see this further. If you are a little bit confused that what's happening and how things are processing, let me just get to the create record element and then I'll give you the gist what actually is happening again. Then for the configure columns, what we have to do is here the very first column that we are going to put out is name. Select done. After that, another column that we have to add is department. Click on done. And last column that we have to add is title. Click on done. So you see all the three columns are displaying over here on our screen element. Then next is finally we'll go to our create opportunity element where we are creating opportunity record, and we are going to add all these field values as well. So let's just click on done. We are good with our contact record screen element. Now we have to go to create records element. Now here, earlier in the second and third unit of this module, we were setting 4 of these field values at the time of record creation, but this time we are going to add few more details. So if you remember that in the previous units challenge, I have pointed out that we are not able to completely test this flow because we were running into an exception that required fields were missing, name and stage name. So in this unit's challenge, we are going to specify that as well, and we'll see at the time of debugging that we are able to successfully create the opportunity record. So let's just click on add field and add name over here. So name value we'll be getting it from opvar. So in the beginning of this video, we created a record variable, right? And are assigning, and we are using this variable opvar to assign name value. So opvar name, I'm going to select this from here. So whatever value the end user will input on the screen element, that will be stored in opvar name, and then it will automatically be get assigned at the time of this record creation to this name field of opportunity. So if I'll just go back, click on done. If I'll just go back to your first screen op fields, here we are using this name field whose value, whatever value we are going to enter here in this text at the time of debugging, that value is getting stored in the name field of opportunity. And then again, I'm using the same variable on our create op over here, opvar, to fetch that name value which user has input on the screen element, and then I'm assigning it to the name field of opportunity. Hope you got the concept over here of the record variable. Then the next field again I'm going to assign is stage name. This is again a required field, and again I'm going to use opvar variable to assign the stage name as well. Now there are other two values that we are going to assign, account ID and contact ID. Now account ID, we'll be getting it from the first screen element. If you remember, we have placed the lookup as well on our very first screen element. Let's just click on done, and I'll go back to my first screen. Here's this lookup component on our screen element, and we are assigning it the opportunity account ID. So whatever value the user will select from this lookup, that record ID will get stored in the screen account variable. And I'm going to use that particular screen account API name to fetch and assign the account ID to my opportunity record that I'm creating through this create record element. So click on add field again, and this time I'm going to assign account ID some value, and the value will be coming from screen account dot record ID. So whatever account the end user will select for the lookup of account on the first screen element, that account will get associated to our opportunity, which we are creating from here. Now, next is we have to add another field, which is contact. And this time also we are going to associate this opportunity to one of the contact records. So how we can do that? There is this lookup field again on opportunity by the label, by the API name contact ID. And we are going to assign this opportunity to that contact as well through the label main contact first selected row ID. So here main contact is the data table component which we have placed on our screen element. So I'll select that first selected row, and then I'm going to use ID here. So this will place the contact ID of whatever record I'm going to select from the data table. That record ID, that selected row ID, which will hold the contact ID, will get stored in this contact ID and will associate our opportunity that we are creating through this create record element to our contact ID. So these are the few more variables that we are predefining dynamically at the time of opportunity creation. Just click on done. And the final step that's left is to save this flow and save all the changes that we have made as part of this unit's challenge. Now, finally, we'll debug this flow and see how this is in progress. Click on debug, run. Now here you see that opportunity name is coming up, stage is coming, account, this is the lookup component that we have placed on our screen element. All these new fields are coming, and below that you can see all new or existing customer, next steps. All these fields are from the previous unit's challenge. So our screen is ready, and now we are going to put out the details over here. So let's just see this flow in action. So let's just name our opportunity as London Corps. Stage, I'll give prospecting, and account, I'm going to select ABC Corps. You can select any account on your own, whichever you have in your org. It's not compulsory that you have to select ABC Corps or you have to have this account. You can create any. Then new or existing customer, I'll select replacement one. You can select any of the values from here, and estimated close date, I'm keeping it as it is. Estimated amount, give anything 35.89. Then click on next. So right now, no items to display for our data table. There are no contact records that fulfill our filtering criteria and could be displayed on this data table. Why is it so? Because the contacts we are getting through our get record element to show on our data table, we have applied filter contact records condition over here, where we are filtering the contact records based on the account ID. So I want only those contact records on my data table where the account ID is same as that we have entered in the lookup component on our very first screen element. So right now in our org, we do not have any contact which have account associated to it as ABC Corps. So ABC Corps was the account we were selecting here on our very first screen, right? Here we are selecting ABC Corps. So right now we do not have any contact which can be displayed on the data table where associated or related account is ABC Corps. You can check that as well. Go to your app launcher, search for contacts here. Go to all contacts. Now here you can see under the account name section or column, you see there are no contacts where the associated account is ABC Corps. That is why we are not getting any of the contact records here in this data table. So how we can get the records here? So one simple thing we have to do is go back to your contacts in App Launcher. We are going to create contacts where we are going to associate account ABC Corps to that. So let's just create new contact. I'm going to give out a name as Edna Gray. Account here, I'm going to associate the one which I'm going to select on my flow screen component. So ABC Corps, I'm selecting here. Title, let's say VP of Sales, Department, Sales Department. That's all. Just click on Save and New. We are going to create another contact so that we have multiple records in our data table. Another contact that I'm going to create is Steve Hale. An account name I'm going to give out again ABC Corps. Title, I'll say Marketing Rep, and Department Marketing Team. That's all. Just click on Save. Now we have two contacts where the account associated to it is ABC Corp. So let's just go back to our flow again and try to debug once more. Click on Debug, run. Let's give out London Corps. Stage name will be prospecting. Account, I'm going to select ABC Corps again. New or existing customer, select the replacement one, or any value. You can select any value from for the next step as well. Estimated close date, I'm keeping same. You can change if you want. Estimated amount, give out any value. Click on next. Now this time you got two contacts in your data table. Why is it so? Because now we have contact records associated to the account that we have selected in the previous screen lookup component. So that is why there are two contacts coming up in this data table. Now, if I'll go back, now here, whatever contact you will select, and after clicking on next, it is going to associate that contact to your opportunity. So right now, if I'll try to select both of these accounts, I will not be able to. Why is it so? So if I'll just go back to your flow, and here in the set contact screen element, in the data table, there was this option under configure rows, single or multiple. So we have selected single here. That's why we can select only one contact from this data table. If so, we have selected multiple, then we would have been able to select multiple contact records. But as of this challenge is concerned, we are selecting single one. That's why we are not able to select more than one. So let's say I select Edna Gray over here, and now we are on this set contact screen. So this is the screen we are on, set contact screen. Now, as soon as I click on next, it will execute this create or create records element as well. So what will happen? It will associate all these values dynamically to our fields on opportunity record, and the contact will get associated from the data table as well. So main contact is the data table API name. Then first row selected. In our case, the first row that we are selecting is Edna Gray. So it will take out the ID of that Edna Gray record and then place that ID in the contact ID field on opportunity at the time of creating it. Similarly, the account, in our case, it's ABC Corp. So it is going to take up the record ID of ABC Corp and associate it to the account ID field on opportunity at the time of creation. So let's just click on next, select Edna Gray over here and just click on next. Now our create record element has been executed, and you can see one opportunity got created. A record is ready to be created when the next screen pause or local action is executed. So our record has been created, and how we can see that, let's just go to our app launcher again. In the app launcher, just search for opportunity, open this. Now you see London Corps, this is the opportunity that we have created, and the account name associated to it is ABC Corps. How this account got associated to it? Because in the create opportunity element, we have added account ID here. So that's why account ABC Corps has been associated to this opportunity. Let's open this up and see other details as well. So you can see opportunity name is coming exact the way we have placed on our screen element. Account name is coming, type is replacement, then amount is 2489. This is the same amount which we placed. Next step as well, prospecting. So all the details are coming. Now the important thing that you have to notice is the contact that got associated to this opportunity from our data table selection. So you can see Edna Gray is coming, and this is the exact account that we had selected on our data table. So all in all, our flow is working absolutely fine. And finally, we were able to test this because in the previous unit challenge, we were trying so hard to create opportunity, but every time we run into exception that you are missing required fields. But this time we are able to completely execute this flow and create an opportunity associated with the contact record and account as well. So that's all we had to do as part of this unit challenge. So let's just go back, and the final thing that's left for us is check challenge button. So click on this and see if you have passed the challenge or not. Hope you learned something new through this video and you got some new insights. So that's all for today's video. We have completed this unit. See you in the next video with another unit or module. Till then, take care. Thank you so much.